When you have a desire that you are not contradicting with doubt, doubtful thoughts. Doubt is the feeling that you feel when you are contradicting your desire, or anger, or frustration, any of those emotions that don't feel so good. They're all about your contradiction. And it's easy to understand how you would get there, isn't it? Because you are observing the world and you're seeing things wanted and unwanted. So when you see something wanted and you are feeling that positive emotion, that means you are, in that moment at least, not doing that thing you do that contradicts your vibration. You know that you are mostly vibration. Sort of hard to know that when you're in your physical body, because through your physical senses, you have been, from the day you were born, good at translating vibration into physical awareness, translating vibration into sight, vibration into sound, vibration into touch. You're really good at translating vibration. And your emotions are the best, or from our vantage point, the most important translators of vibration that you possess, because your emotions let you know how much you are harmonizing with who you really are or not. And who you really are is more than you understand. You were source energy before you came into these bodies, and that larger part of you still is. And as that larger part of you still is non-physical energy, that means that larger part of you is pure, non-resisted energy. So here you are in your physical body, having a relationship, whether you know that you are or not, with that part of you. Your emotions tell you about that relationship. When you're feeling love or joy or enthusiasm, you are so in harmony with that larger part of you that there is no resistance within you. There's no separation, is always too strong a word, but there's no separation. You're not pinching yourself off in any way. But when you feel negative emotion, you're doing something in that moment with your thoughts or your words or your actions that is not harmonizing with who your inner being, that larger non-physical part of you, knows you to be. So you were that non-physical energy before you came into this body, but only a part of that consciousness came forth into this body. The larger part of who you really are remains as non-physical source energy. So here you are all day, every day, doing what you came to do, sifting through the data of life, coming to your own personal and important new conclusions or preferences, and having a relationship with that larger part of you. Do you know that whenever you are exploring variety or contrast, and you know what you don't want, you launch a rocket of what you do want. And when you do that, you have the potential of separating yourself just a little bit, because you have vibrationally become more than you can physically at first keep up with. You knew it would be that way. You knew that this was the evolution of all species. And you knew that you were coming into this time and space to be on the leading edge of thought. And you reveled in the idea of you having your own personal exploration, of you personally choosing, of you launching those rockets of desire. And so over time, we've been wanting to help you to see the bigger picture and understand how importantly you fit into all of it. We want you to know that you are leading edge creators, and that the leading edge in this time and space is where all that is non-physical is focused forward. This is the experience of becoming. This is where vibration manifests. And in this manifestation, in this furthest most leading edge manifestation, all that is reveling in what you are about. So we began to explain to you first that you are vibration, and many of you are catching up or warming up to that idea. And then we explained to you that there is a powerful law in this universe called the law of attraction that manages these frequencies. Law of attraction simply says that that which is likened to itself is drawn. It also says that there's no exclusion in this understanding or in this universe, that you get what you think about whether you want it or not. So whether you say yes to it or no about it, you're still calling it to you, because it is your attention to it that activates the vibration within you. And then law of attraction responds to that activated vibration, and off you go. So we began explaining to you about the law of attraction. And in the beginning, we called this the science of deliberate creation, because we wanted you to be deliberate about your inevitable expansion. But many of you got worried about that, because the idea of creating your own reality was thrilling until you realized you were creating your own reality. And then you began saying things like, oh, cancel, cancel. You would think a thought or speak a thought, try to suck it back before law of attraction got hold of it and took you someplace you didn't want to go. And so then we began explaining to you the steps of deliberate creation. Step one is ask, and the contrast just constantly causes you to ask, even if you don't say it out loud. When you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and you automatically present or project a vibration of desire. And that vibration of desire is fully received by your inner being, that non-physical part of you who remains non-physically focused, knowing about you. And so you project this desire forward. The non-physical part of you doesn't just notice it or be aware of it, but totally embraces it and accepts it as the newest expanded version of you. And in order to help you to understand that, we began saying to you that when you ask, which is step one, it is given, which is step two. In other words, source answers everything that you ask in the instant that you ask for it. But you must understand that even though you have been answered, the answer has come at first in the form of a vibrational alignment and agreement. When you ask, it becomes a vibrational reality. But in order for you to see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it, it has to become not only more mature in its evolution, but you have to mature at the same vibrational rate in order to match up with what you have created. Just because you want it doesn't mean you're a vibrational match to it. It takes a little while. Because often when you're in trouble without something that you want or need, that's when you're asking for it. But the dominant vibration within you is the absence of it, the trouble of not having it, or the trouble of having something unwanted. And so in the beginning of your asking, you are never a vibrational match if your desire has been born out of your awareness of what you don't have or of what you don't want. So that's where we know that we can be of most value to you, in helping you get up to speed with your own desires. And that is, in fact, the only value that we have to you, and it's the only quest or goal that you ever really have, is to get up to speed with your own desires, to get up to speed with what life has caused you to already become. So there is this gap between you and you. A gap that says, I want this, but I believe this. Or I want this, but I've already got this. And that's the thing that trips you up the most. Over time, we've been offering examples to help you to understand that there really is a vibrational reality. We call it a vortex. We wrote a whole book about it because we want you to expect the realness of this vibrational reality. And we know in your physical format, where you are so good at translating things into physical things, that if you can't see it or hear it or smell it or taste it or touch it, then it's hard to accept that it already is. But we want you to know that you can feel for it. In religious terms, that's what you call faith. Knowing that it is there, or knowing that it is becoming, without being able to see it yet. It hasn't fully manifested, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't already exist in this vibrational form. So then many of you came to accept that there is a vibrational reality. We talked about it a lot, incessantly. You were very patient with us. And then you began saying things to us or thinking things to us, which is the same thing. All right, Abraham, I'll accept your silly premise that there is this vibrational reality. Call it whatever you want, vortex, I don't care. I can't see it. I'll play your game. I'll accept that it's real. Just have one question for you. How do I get my money out of the vortex and into my bank account? How do I turn these thoughts to things? how does the creation that you say I am involved in, how does it become a reality that I can experience fully and that others can see too? Because you leave me in a very precarious place. I look like a nut talking about things that aren't yet. Why are you so happy? Oh, you should see what I've created. I'd like to. Where is it? Well, it's in this secret place that some refer to as the vortex. Oh, it's real. Everything I want is in there. How do you know? Well, I just know. I can feel it. I know it's in there. Well, when's it going to come out? It's not easy, is it? Being in your physical body where seeing and hearing and smelling and tasting and touching is the only form of reality that you've ever really been encouraged to embrace. And now we're asking you to accept, first of all, your vibrationalness. We're asking you to accept that you are vibrational and to accept that the entire universe is too. And when you begin to look at this universe as vibrational, and you begin to accept the idea of law of attraction, and when you get it, that you get what you think about, and you begin to watch your thoughts turn to things, that's the operative word here in this gathering today. Let's talk about how these vibrations become thoughts and these thoughts become things, because this is the process of creation. You have to know that something's going on. Look at your evolution and expansion, and you don't see any pipelines from other planets. There aren't any spaceships bringing goods and services to your environment. In other words, you are a species who is expanding and evolving as all species do. But without your connection to that which is source, it would not be happening. And the sooner that you acknowledge your relationship with source, then really and only then will you be able to understand what your emotional guidance system is all about. You get what you think about, whether you want it or not. There's no exclusion in this attraction-based universe. So then it takes some sensitivity to what you're doing with your thoughts, because you've become accustomed to the power of your words, thinking that yes means come to me and that no means don't come to me. And you are accustomed to exploring and evaluating and comparing and giving your attention to what is manifested. And we understand why you would want to do that. But the thing about that is if you're looking at what is mostly, and if most of what you are offering vibrationally is because of what you're observing, then you can't move past what you're observing. So you just keep creating more of what is, different faces in different places, but your life doesn't change if you keep having the same mood or attitude about what's going on. So it's helpful to understand that every subject, like the subject of relationships, or the subject of money, dollars, or the subject of anything, is really two subjects. It's like a stick that you pick up that has two ends on it. On one end of it is your desire, and on the other end of it is your absence of desire. And what most don't realize is that often when they think they're talking about something that they desire, they're actually offering a vibration about the absence of the desire, because they're noticing what is missing. We want you to come to know the power of the source within you. We want you today to get a true sense of how your desires are culminated in a vibrational reality, and that there is a powerful pulling of you toward them. And the reason for that is because in the same way that law of attraction is responding to the thoughts that you think, law of attraction is responding to the thoughts that the source within you thinks too. The thoughts that your inner being thinks about you cause a very powerful point of attraction, which you could call inspiration. We call it your calling. You're being called to the allowing of the fulfilling of all that you have been asking for. And that's a very powerful calling. You are being called into this physical body, and you're being called from the moment you were in this physical body, is a very powerful calling. And you know the reason we're telling you that in this strong way, a very powerful calling, very, very powerful calling, source energy calling on your behalf, calling you home to who you really are.